Now, earlier in the show, Michelle discussed the growing shipping routes, not just from China to the U.S., but from the U.S. to China. And one major food making that route is the soybean. You might not know this, but the U.S. is a major soybean producer, and a large percentage of its harvest is destined for China. Katie Fisher has more.
China's indulging in some of the original American exports: French fries, fried chicken, and hamburgers. But now that China's economy is improving and its growing middle class can afford more meat and oil, its hunger is more than the land can handle. And this is resulting in the reliance on another American export: soybeans. Soy might sound like a protein-filled option for a gourmet vegetarian, but in fact, it's the meat eaters who are driving the real soy consumption. Of the 70 million tons of soybeans China consumed last year, about 10 million was made into oil for frying and cakes. The other 60 million tons were turned into animal feed. And with China's annual meat consumption now over 110 pounds per person, the country needs more soybeans. And that's where the problem lies. China has run out of space for soy. With over 1.34 billion people and decreasing arable land, China has dedicated its farmland to growing grain and raising cattle. Lester Brown, director of the Earth Policy Institute, says while China has been successful in getting more grain yield from its limited land, it's moving in the wrong direction when it comes to soybeans.
The one area where China's made no progress at all is in soybean yields, which is sort of ironic for the country that, domesticated the soybean. You'd think they'd be pushing hard on this, but they haven't. They've just given up and decided to import soybeans and use all the land to produce grain.
Li Guoxiang, researcher from the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, said going abroad for soy is inevitable.
那么这种大量进口呢，应该来说。
For China, soybean imports actually are a solution for the conflict over land shortages. If we produce all the soybeans on our own, it would require a vast amount of land, and we obviously don't have enough land resources. So importing soybeans is a good choice for China.
Imports of soybeans have gone up since China entered the World Trade Organization a decade ago. China now imports over 55 million tons, nearly 3 times what the country produces domestically. And expectations for increased imports this year is good news for American farmers. While the U.S. has crop competition in South America, China is still America's #1 soybean market. More of America's farmland is dedicated to soybeans than wheat, and a quarter of its soybeans go directly to China. With demand in China going up, American farmers can expect earnings to go up too. But as China tries to keep the cost of that stir-fry low by growing more of its own food, one crop that will still be arriving in China's ports is soybeans.